So you're thinking about buying a Can-Am Spyder. Well, as you know, you have several decisions to make. Number one, are you going to buy new or are you going to buy used? If you want to buy new, we have a video which I'll link below in the description. But if you want to buy used, this is the video for you. I'm going to outline the steps that we took and some things you might want to stay away from and some things to consider as you move through the process to decide to buy and the actual purchase and procurement process of your Can-Am Spyder. When we decided to make the purchase and become owners of a Can-Am Spyder, we opted for the used category as opposed to showroom fresh new. The reason was simple. Besides saving a few dollars, it meant that we were able to get into Spyder ownership a little bit sooner. We were anxious to get on the road. Looking back, no regrets, but it did take a little bit of homework, and I want to share some of those points with you and some of the tips that I can share to help make your transition into buying a used Spyder perhaps a little easier and a little less risky than who in the world is texting me in the middle of my video? It's my lawyer. Don't forget to read the disclosure that I wrote for you. This video should not be considered to be a complete training program on how to buy a Can-Am Spyder or other similar machine. The objective is to point out some of the things you may wish to consider before you move forward with your purchase. But as always, do your own research. Your mileage may vary. Hope you're happy. Okay, to start with, depending on what features and models you want when you decide to make the purchase decision for a used Spyder, you may have to go a considerable distance. We went to South Carolina. It was a 400-mile ride. We had decided to limit our purchase decision to within the east coast of the United States. In other words, on this side of the Mississippi River. I didn't want to have a week-long trip to bring the Spyder home. So the closer the better. And because of the features we were looking for specifically, it meant the number of models available would be fewer and far between. So unlike if you're going to go out and buy a four-door sedan for basic transportation in your hometown, there's a good likelihood there's 10 dozen of them for sale right now within 10 miles of your home. But not true with the Spyder. So that requires a little bit of extra homework, a little bit of extra planning, and a little bit of extra taking precautions so you don't get burned. Now, before you actually go out and make your purchase decision and spend a lot of money to buy a Can-Am Spyder, a couple things you need to ask yourself. Do you really want a Spyder? And the only way to really answer that is just perhaps spend some time on a Can-Am Spyder. That's trickier than it used to be. Currently, my more recent research shows only a few places in the United States rent Spyders. There's a couple in the Smoky Mountain National Park area. There is a Eagle Rider franchise up in New Jersey that rents the Can-Am Spyder, and those are the only ones that I can find at the moment. Other options are to get your three-wheel certification at a school that offers the Can-Am Spyder for training. That's what Miriam did. Check around to see if it's available. So that way you can spend some time. One of the things that we had the luxury of doing was taking a 3-day rental and going up to the Shenandoah National Park and really wringing out the Spyder to make sure it was what we wanted. It made the decision for us that we were going to make that purchase.
How's it no one's smiling? Yes, I'm having fun.
But by all means, get on a Spyder somewhere before you make that decision, even if you have to go to a dealership and take a demo ride. Next, ensure that you can legally operate your Can-Am Spyder in your home state. Many states require a motorcycle endorsement. Some states, as Virginia, requires a 3-wheel motorcycle endorsement. And that means you may have to go to a school, which is a great time to spend some time on a Spyder to get that endorsement. So you don't want to get caught in a lurch and you realize you can't even legally operate your Spyder because you don't have a license to do so. Now, another decision that may make itself, depending on what you're actually looking for, is are you going to buy from a private party or are you going to buy from a dealership? Many Spyder dealerships have used Spyders for sale. Both have advantages and disadvantages. The big advantage from buying from a private party is that generally you can get your Spyder at a little bit of a lower cost. There are other potential risks involved because you're going to have to take care of the paperwork yourself and to make sure you've dotted the I's and crossed the T's. The advantages of buying from a dealership will take care of all the paperwork for you, generally speaking, and but the trade-off is it probably will cost you a little bit more money. So that's a decision you have to make. Also find out if you're buying from a dealership, is there a warranty included? Sometimes there is, sometimes there isn't. Next, you want to build a budget for two different categories. The first category is your acquisition cost. This is the cost of actually obtaining the Spyder. Now, if you're going to go out of town, you have to figure out in advance how far do you want to go and how far will your trip be coming back and how you will get your Spyder home. You have many options. You can ride the Spyder home. You can have it shipped. You can rent a trailer and a truck and put it on a trailer and trailer it home. So you have those options, but all those things have a price tag, so you want to anticipate that. Also, you want to anticipate the possibility of hotel expenses and meals and that sort of thing. Next is the operational budget, which I like to call the care and feeding of your Spyder. This will include such things as your monthly payment if you choose to finance your Spyder, your personal property tax if your locality has a tax for motor vehicles, your insurance for your Spyder, and such things as maintenance and gas. Next, we made a list of all the features that we wanted to have on our Spyder. And we broke them into two categories. Some were deal breakers. If it didn't have it, we weren't interested in the Spyder. Some of the others were, it'd be nice to have, but it's not really a deal breaker, such as I wanted the 1330 engine, which is in a 2014 Spyder and up. I also wanted the semi-automatic transmission, which is the SE6 model in the 2014 and up Spyder. And some of the options that were on our list that were not mandatory, because I could add those later, would be things like footboards. Next is actually shopping for the Spyder. I use two different platforms. I use CycleTrader and I use Craigslist. Now, if you're going to be buying from a private party, there's a lot of scams out there, so you need to be a little bit careful. Number one rule, never, ever wire money to anybody. It is prone with risks, and you may find out that you have wired your good, hard-earned money into a scammer's bank account, and you'll never see them again. The tricks and the con jobs are just unbelievable, the steps they will go to. Next, I asked the seller why they were selling the Spyder. It's always good to have a feeling about the person you're going to be doing business with. And he was quite candid that he was downsizing after a divorce and needed to unload some of his assets, and that's why he was moving it. He actually had some regret. He goes, several times I considered not selling it, but I'm gonna have to. So it's good to find out why they're selling the vehicle. So then in our case, we felt comfortable enough to negotiate a price on the phone, and I got everything all lined up, and I rented a car and drove down to South Carolina, and I met the owner at his residence. Another tip, if you're going to buy anything from anybody and they don't want to meet you at their home or the actual place where they work, that's a big red flag. I don't go to a parking lot at a mall to buy anything from anybody. So anyway, I met the gentleman at his home, and the first thing I did was make sure the registration card he presented me a copy of and the serial number matched. And the serial number for the Can-Am Spyder, also called the VIN, Vehicle Identification Number, is on the lower left frame, which is between the front footboard and the rear footboard. You're going to have to get down on your belly to look for it, but it's right there. Next, find out what the procedure is for obtaining temporary tags or whatever is legally required to move your Spyder out of state if you're going to be driving it, or at least getting the clear title. What we were able to do is we went down to his local credit union where he had the Spyder financed, and we settled out the promissory note, and he took the equity he had out, and the financial institution then gave me a clear title. He was courteous enough to take me to the local DMV where I was able to get the temporary tags so I can transient out of state with those temporary tags to come home to Virginia, then go to DMV and spend a lovely half a day waiting to get my Spyder retitled with Virginia tags. Next, we made a list of the things that we wanted to check and evaluate before we actually handed over the money for the Spyder. We made a list to make sure the odometer reading was what was advertised. It was actually a low mileage Spyder. Check the tires, check the brake fluid. We went down the entire list of things that the manufacturer recommends you get checked on a regular basis, and we were able to do that. That way I had a good feeling on the condition of the Spyder. One of the things you may wish to consider doing is taking the Spyder to a local Spyder dealership and have them evaluate it. You can negotiate this out and have this done before you commit to buying it. Of course, probably that fee will be on you, and you can then make your buy decision at that point, or you can wait till you get where the Spyder's at and actually do that. It doesn't hurt to have another set of eyes who are not emotionally attached to the machine to give you their opinion of its condition. Now, I gotta caution you. Every mechanic is going to find a problem with every vehicle. That's just what they do. Question is, are these minor things that you can live with, or are they deal breakers? That's a decision you have to make. Another really important tip, and I had this problem a lot when I was selling real estate. Until the time you actually take title for your vehicle, or in the case when I was selling houses, the keys to the house at closing, it is a business transaction. You must do your best to stay unemotional and not to fall in love with the machine until it's yours. It's just a business transaction. If things go south, you want to be able to walk away and go, this deal is over, and feel good about it, as opposed to completing the transaction and then spending years of regrets going, why did I do this? Be prepared to walk away. Another tip, did the Spyder have a maintenance record so you know exactly when the fluids were changed, such things as the coolant, the oil, the brakes when they were last flushed? If you don't have these maintenance records and you're past the period at which the first maintenance procedure for like the coolant or the brakes fluid should be changed, as soon as I got the Spyder home, I would change all those things out myself to get a good fresh start so I know where I'm at with my fluid level. Fortunately for us, the seller had a complete set of maintenance records for our Spyder. The vehicle was maintained at the local Can-Am Spyder dealership, so we were okay in that department. So I hope this video has been somewhat helpful for you. We shot several videos during the evaluation and test phase and the procurement phase of our Can-Am Spyder, and I have them listed below in the description. So if you want to take a look at those, it kind of goes through them a little bit. They're a little dated. They're about 5 years old, and I didn't have as many gray hairs back then. As usual, if you think of anything else that you would like to see covered along this subject or anything else pertaining to travel or the Can-Am Spyder, feel free to put them in the comments below. And as always, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe. It gives us the motivation to come out and make more videos for you guys. Thanks for watching, and you all take care. The reason was quite simple. We were able to get into Spyder ownership for a little bit less money, and which translated in being able to do it sooner. We have no regrets. Now the Navy's flying over. I can't win today. Like the sixth take. Take it again. Take it again.